welcome to this thing.
Welcome. I don't want to address the camera.
You don't want to address
Screw
the
'em.
camera?
Screw everyone who's watching this.
Ignore.
Fuck all you.
Fuck you guys.
See our bounty.
We got brioche.
A slice of brioche,
have
one
a
for each
brioche.
man. Come, why don't you?
What if I make
Come, sit, weary travellers, have some brioche.
But only one slice each,
I am
mind you.
today's dungeon master. Right, I'm going to start. I've got an idea where I'm going to start each session by sort of giving you guys an opportunity to flesh out some aspect of like your group or your character. But I'll look at some bit of the world, talk about it a little bit. And Ben's going to let the cat out. So yeah, I'm going to talk about a different aspect of the world. This week I'm going to talk about religion, the way religion is in the world, and to talk about some like different religions there are, and then you guys can sort of decide how, if your characters are involved in that, how much so, are they deeply pious, are they lapsed, what they worship, all that sort of stuff. So there's no sort of conclusive evidence of gods in the way that it's not like a Dungeons and Dragons world where there clearly are gods because there are people whose powers come from the gods.
Okay.
It's more like, you know, everyone believes there are gods. It's like medieval Europe or like the real world. There's no definitive evidence. It's not like there's one pantheon and those are all real gods and they all know each other and are mates, like is sort of how it works in a lot of fantasy settings.
What about the big... Okay, just to clarify, we're insects in insect fantasy world, essentially.
Yeah.
But there are humans as well who exist within this world.
Do you just not remember the story at all then?
No, I'm recapping.
All last week it's just
For
a massive
our one
blur.
viewer.
There's evidence which to us as the players is conclusive of humanity, but
Okay.
I don't know if they've ever been seen. You certainly...
Would they be
hear
gods?
tales of
Because
them.
we'd be like, what is this giant structure?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. That is one of the religions in the world. There's a group of faiths, all of which are... There's lots of different things, but there are people who worship what they call the builders. And they're a long ago race of mythical giants that built the wall. Now, no one really debates the fact that the wall's artificial, because it's fairly clearly a wall.
Right.
Like, pretty much the same as like you'd use to enclose a field when you are a bug, except millions of times bigger. But whether they actually existed, whether they sort of vanished, all this sort of thing is lots of people disagree on, and some people worship the builders. There's only one sort of social sort of moray, which is, as far as religion goes, which almost everyone accepts, which is their concept of the afterlife is this thing called the mulch, where the idea is when you die, your body decays and goes into the earth. Well, their idea is that your soul also doesn't decay, but it also sort of dissolves and goes into like a sort of it does a similar process but spiritually, and it merges with all the other souls, and that's where like new life comes up from that, in the same way as plants are fertilized by the death of things. So they have this whole cycle for that, and the main way that affects people is that there's a strong taboo against eating other sentients because it sort of delays them returning to the things that even carnivorous like species, even like spiders, wouldn't tend to eat another sentient being unless they're like super
They just
evil.
eat like the unsentient.
Yeah,
kind
exactly. All of the, like the animals. Yeah,
Yeah.
like foxes. Like foxes.
Well, no,
exactly.
because foxes would be, but like like the big caterpillar trains and stuff.
Millipede trains,
Millipede trains. But like, so basically, like, so again, just to clarify, there's like animal versions of the same
Yes,
insects.
of all the in the same way as like you can think of a chimp as like an animal version of a person. If you know what I mean. There's like a family tree in a way that leads up to the sentient species.
That's cool.
Um,
So pretty much everyone accepts that.
So with the mulch, do you have like a soul? Like when you're kind of like your body goes down and all mulches together and stuff, do all the souls mulch together?
Yeah, the souls sort of mulch together as well, and it's kind of like a great group mind or unconscious. Like, people disagree on its exact nature, obviously, because it's a theological construct, but
it's not like reincarnation or anything.
It's not like direct reincarnation. No, the idea is that people come back, and you might. There's some people who think that if you come back very brave, it's because a little bit of the soul of a dead hero's got into you, and some people do and don't believe that, and all that stuff. So there's a few different. But then there are people who believe in gods. There are religions that don't have a precise concept of a god, that they're more like Buddhism or something. I'll give you some examples of these. So there's moon worshippers. I don't have a particular term for them.
Moonies.
Yeah, or
You don't use that.
I'm going to call them the Moonies, Dan. Right, well done. So they basically believe that the moon. This is a religion that was originally developed by moths, and it's still popular among nocturnal. Generally speaking, among nocturnal species, it's popular, where they hold light to be holy, in a sort of Diwali sense.
So why are they not like sunnies?
Because that's the thing. Because mostly because they're nocturnal, most of these religions think that the sun is like the only evil light that there is.
Okay.
Not necessarily evil, but impure in some way.
Yeah.
But like, and that the moon is the original light, and it's where all light comes from. In some way, as like a descendant of or an aspect of the moon. So some of these people live in as being nocturnal, they might live underground in the dark, and they almost never have light because it's holy. You're meant to treat it with respect, and they might have a single candle. There are other.
So why would the sun be unholy? Because it just sort of covers.
Basically, just evolutionary reasons. Like I imagine they're nocturnal. They're scared of the sun, so they have to rationalise it somehow.
Okay.
So that's my evolutionary argument. There's probably a theological reason as well, but these are not like in this scheme is big enough. Like, you know, just moon worshippers isn't a religion. Like, there's not a single church of this. There are dozens of different churches and sects, all of which disagree with each other about the exact interpretation of it. So that gives you guys some freedom to play within. So there are some people, like I said, who basically live in darkness because they want to treat light with a lot of respect. There are other cults who would just have lights everywhere and keep candles burning all the time, or they'll raise glowworms and have large glowworm farms, basically as a way of worshipping the light. There's the Web of Fates, which is a sort of non-god-based religion, which is originally developed by the spiders, but is now quite popular. And that's sort of on the idea that there are invisible sort of threads and connections between everything, and that by exercising your will, you can influence the world by sort of metaphysically tugging on these threads. So again, this is practiced in a few different ways. So there are lots of like remote nomad hunters who worship this by doing rituals that will, they believe, bring them prey and keep them safe and that sort of thing. But it's quite a self-empowering religion, because it's the idea that the act of your will is what influences it. But in the cities there are large organisations where people go and pray, and they sort of pray as a group, and they believe that their whole, you know, thousands of them praying at once will be enough to influence things like the fate of nations and the weather and that sort of thing. There's the deep faiths. These are religions which come up by the underground, the people that live in the Warren. Do you remember the Warren? It's like a big like connection of underground tunnels. It's like a massive Moria, basically. And they believe that life started deep underground, and as it sort of came up towards the surface, it evolved and changed, and that the forms that live on the surface are actually like devolved versions of the purer forms which live underground. And they believe there's some god or being or energy at the centre of, or at the bottom of the world, which sort of is where life comes from, and that's what keeps all living things sort of turning over. So that obviously ties up with the mulch. Like they believe quite strongly in the mulch. There's a couple of more moon worshippers. What else? Oh, I already talked about the builders. They worship the people who built the wall. And the only other sect is there's a few weird sects that actually don't bury they have the taboo about not eating. Rather than most burials, it's just the idea is that you want them to get back to the mulch as soon as possible, so you bury them and you just hope they decay away, basically. These people use things like, they mummify their dead basically by using, sometimes they'll encase them in sap and make them into sort of like amber. Sometimes they'll mix them with salts or sugars or something to dry them out.
Kind of Egyptian?
Yeah. Those religions, especially in areas where that aren't near a big source of, like, if you're a long way from a big source of like salt or a source of like sap to preserve, they tend to be religions of the rich, just because those things are expensive to get.
Right. Okay.
So those are some, but like, don't feel the need to go for any of those options. I also realised that I talked for a long time and gave you a lot of options. Is there anything there which appeals to sort of like what your characters are? They're perfectly. If you want them to not be religious, that's fine.
I think I could work with the lunar religion.
Yeah.
I could work with that.
Wait, are ants?
Ben's people.
Oh no,
ants.
you're ants.
Oh,
Wait, what?
Okay.
Sorry, no, I was trying to, because you're not ants, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go Luna? Is that for like just your current character, or like?
I think for the whole sect, some sort of.
Do they all have the same? Like, is that like a? Is that a?
Or perhaps not like a
necessity,
primary.
or?
I guess the I mean the whole point is that they're just sort of cobbled together. So I guess there will be sort of aspects of religions. I guess it's not so much a religious. It's more like a sort of
like a group identity thing.
yeah, like a group sort of belief sort
Yeah.
of thing. And I think the whole sort of aspect of holy light is something that I could work with
Yeah.
in terms of like rituals and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'll
Makes sense why people like lit that big fire and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it sort of ties up with that, I guess.
My guys come from, I think it's called Whitcliffe?
Whitgate.
Whitgate, yeah, there you go. And that's pretty close to the wall.
Yeah.
So I would have thought that kind of town would probably be relatively builder.
Yeah, especially since they are actually builders. Like that's sort of their job.
But they wouldn't be very pious.
No. They're in the same way as like the gangs in Departed are Catholic. These guys are.
They might use it as an excuse sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And they won't use they won't profane the builders in front of their grandmothers and that sort of thing.
Ah, yeah, I like that. Like kind of
Like
like gangs and
old
stuff.
fake, yeah,
Like
exactly.
yeah, that's cool. Well, I guess in terms of just the whole group, the circus troupe, yeah, they all have different sort of religions. Some of them aren't religious at all. Others are, quite pious. Others aren't. So, they're all the mixed match of people. But as for my current character, who is Master Zhao, the praying mantis martial arts master, I mean, what do you think? Like, because is that like more of a I'm thinking he's got more of like a philosophical outlook. Yeah. Like, but you were talking about Taoist stuff and Buddhist stuff.
I can imagine he'd be interested in the web. That sort of sounds like the kind of thing you might.
That does sound kind of somewhat, but I mean, I don't want that to be like his. Like how
maybe he studied
informs his whole life. Like maybe he because what would you think?
I don't know. The word strikes me as basically the pragmatist's view to religion. It's about your actions and what you do to improve your
action
situation.
and reaction.
Well,
yeah,
maybe,
and you're in charge, and I think that's something that martial arts is very.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal with martial arts. You have to train.
Yeah.
No one else is going to train for you. No one's going to hand you the abilities. And if he's a martial arts master who dedicated his life to it, I'd have thought the whole idea of any gods out there who God helps those who helps themselves.
Okay. So with your web religion, is that just more of like a
I was thinking in my head it was more like
or is that like you have an actual deity or
no? There's not a deity, but there is a. I'd say it's a philosophy, but not in the sort of in a more traditional sense of philosophy. Like the way that the ancient Greeks thought that there was a separate realm of ideas, like an abstract realm. Like it's like that. There's definitely things which I would consider religious about it, despite the fact it doesn't particularly serve.
Okay.
Any gods.
It could be pretty impractical too, though, couldn't it? I mean, as in, like, if it's a large group of people sort of praying or doing a ritual or something, and expecting that to change things.
Yeah, in your guy's background, like honestly, you don't have to. I feel like out of the ones I've said, the Web of Fates is probably the closest fit, but it might not be. Like, it's okay for you to just have a non-specific.
Okay.
Thing, but I'd be more interested in that case. You don't have to develop the theology or anything. That's fine. But in his background, was he like a hermit? Did he live in like a monastery? Was he out in the world? Was he in part of a large group, or was he by himself? Those are the sort of questions I was more interested in.
I guess with his history, he was he was part of some kind of a monastery. He probably had like a long sort of sabbatical in which he travelled the world and stuff, and sort of gained his own wisdoms as well. After his time in the monastery, as such as they are, and so I guess I don't know what the monastery would teach. Though, like, it seems like Web of Fates is a good sort of thing to be teaching there, but it could also just be like just some sort of.
Don't worry. That like
He's a spiritual dude.
He's
That's
a
basically
a spiritual dude without being like encumbered by like he's practical about it. You know, he doesn't feel like, you know. He doesn't feel like, oh, if we all pray together in a big room, that will change our fates. He's like, I need to go out and actually, you know, do good in the world, and then there will, you know, I will change the world in that way.
How about there's like a variation on the Web of Fates, which is rather than the idea that it's just your will, it's just basically a more generic idea that everything is connected, and by affecting, you know, by doing good in the world, the good will spread out and affect things, and it's a sort of the web's like a metaphor for actual like societal and like other connections like that.
No, I like that. Yeah, definitely. I think I'll go with that.
So what we're going for is martial arts Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world.
I think yes. That is who he is.
Don't make
Martial
No,
arts
I'm
Gandhi.
happy with that. I'm happy with martial arts Gandhi. Because he's quite he's all about helping people and stuff.
yeah, which is nice. Which is what
But he's also an expert fighter.
he's also an expert fighter and a circus entertainer.
He's had an interesting life.
That's
you know?
one way of putting it.
He has.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to try and figure out a way how he actually ended up in the circus.
Well, it's a good way of traveling. It's a good way of
I
getting
imagine
exposure.
he had some
so,
sort
I mean,
of a darker past as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys like.
Oh,
I'm going to probably do something like this at the start of the
each
other
one.
sessions.
Is that every time it's going to be focused on our groups, or is it sometimes going to perhaps be, say, fleshing out the world, like saying, you know, we're now in the Kingdom of Mana or the Republic of Mana, and you know, building on what we learned about it last time. You know,
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to do, if I can, try and tie it in with your guys. What do you guys think? Like,
Yeah.
is that too much of a load?
In some ways, the decisions that we make about our group kind of change the way the world is as well. Like if we say we want to be this kind of faith, then that changes.
I mean, we've just
What sort of faith there are? Yeah, that's the way I I haven't tried to world with anything too precisely, so that you guys saying actually this is different,
and
then
if also
that
if
won't
we're
break
talking about-
anything. Hopefully,
If we're talking about our pasts, like I came from this particular town, or this was what the situation was like at this town, that then informs a history elsewhere as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to?
I think that's everything. I think we can start the adventure. Right. So you guys had left the city, which was imminently about to be attacked, and you were heading west along the roads, heading towards the Republic of Mana, which is some way off in the distance. You are you going to march? How long are you going to march? Because you set off sort of like not that long after sunset. Like it was sort of maybe 8 or 9 o'clock.
I mean, who's in our current sort of
In your group, so you
Groups.
have I think it was 15 caravans that you managed to 15 carts you've managed to assemble from all sorts of places, loaded down with stuff. You had including you had Niara, who was the merchant, you had Madam Nis, who was with the books, and you had also basically as many hangers on as you could get.
Wait, Niara the merchant.
He was
male.
Male.
I know it's a female sounding name.
He was the one who was friends with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Madam Nis. Okay. Do we have how many cartloads of books do we have?
I think it was 2 cartloads of books.
We didn't get rid of any of them.
Is Madam Nis a librarian or?
She's like an archivist, yeah.
Okay.
And she's a spider.
If you guys, Dan, if you're making a note of what stuff you've got.
2 carts, books. For fuck's sake. Master Zell's not so happy.
Does he not like reading?
How many? He does, but he also likes
He can't
helping
read.
people.
And then
it's a big problem which he doesn't talk about
I
very
didn't
much.
teach him to read in the monastery.
How many civilians do we have with us? Are they walking along beside us, or are they in our carts?
It's almost hard to say because you weren't the only caravan to leave,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of people who weren't with any caravan. So you've got a group of hangers-on, which is probably of comparable size to the amount of people that you have in your group. Like, you've
Okay.
probably got. So I don't know exactly how many people you've got, but you've probably got about maybe 2/3 to about the same number of just random refugees.
Just with my group?
No,
or-
with all of you guys, like all on the road together.
So we're looking at sub 1,000. Maybe?
Oh yeah, less than 1,000, probably less than 500 people in total.
Okay.
Wait, so of that, about like 300 is us.
Yeah. But this is the
300
thing.
Spartans.
I'm trying to not keep the numbers
Try
precise
to keep it
because
loose.
I've got no idea.
Yeah.
So, are you?
Sorry.
That's fine.
So there's about 300 of us and about 300 hangers on, something like that.
That sort of order of magnitude, yeah. You started moving, like you guys said last time that you wanted to try and just make as much distance as you could, but
Yeah.
are you going to march through the night, or are you going to just get what you think is a safe distance beyond the city?
Through the night.
Through the night.
You're going to...
Once we got
3,
a caravan.
2, 1. Sorry.
Once we have a caravan.
Okay, so let's repeat everything that just happened. So, you guys are going to march through the night to get as far away from the city as you can. So you're going to march. Okay, that's fine. You actually do, as you're going. There are some, some of these refugees have just got the clothes they stand up in. Some of them are like carrying kids, or kids are trying to keep up with them. It's some of them are pushing their own little hand carts. Some of them have got like sort of skinny looking livestock that they're dragging along with them, and actually quite a few people. You don't keep a good track of how many because you're just trying to keep your own people moving, but a decent number of them sort of just drop off into the night because they like slow down to sleep. By the time it gets to the wee small hours, people were getting really exhausted.
Okay. Is this like a dangerous road, or?
No. This is the question. Are you guys going to travel? There's a major road which heads off along the some way from the north shore. It heads past the reeds and continues out onto the main plains, which is on the far side of the plains is where the Kingdom of Manor is.
Okay. And on the plains, there's like just sort of.
There's various settlements and nomadic kingdoms and that sort of thing along the plains.
Is there another route we have, or?
You could head into the Warren. You could.
Wait, the one leads to the.
The Warren can go in all sorts of different directions. It's just
Okay.
a problem of whether you get lost or not.
Okay.
The network of tunnels is kind of like, an underground, but for the whole world. Like, you can get around it, but it doesn't always come up where you want it to, that sort of thing. So, it was a very dark night, the sky's heavily clouded. As dawn starts to rise, you guys are all exhausted. Some of your people have been taking naps in the carts, that sort of thing, taking turns, trying to stay on watch. As many people as possible, but people have been walking for a day's march now, and through the night, so they're getting pretty knackered. As the sun, the sun doesn't really rise. It's a milky, sort of watery dawn, and there's no real sun. It's just ominous-looking clouds, and you suspect that there'll be a rainstorm probably later today. And now a rainstorm, when you're an insect, can be quite a big deal. The raindrops can be as large as you are, so you're probably going to want to try and find some cover somewhere. Find a settlement you can stay in, or get into the Warren, or...
I mean, the Warren could flood, right?
Yeah, or an entrance could be water shut. All this could happen. So that's your guys' next steps.
Have we got the map that we can?
Yeah,
refer to?
I'll show you the map. So I'll tell you what. I'll draw you a bigger version of the area which you're worried about. So
Just because I don't really like the sound of going into the Warren.
I've got a question, and I feel like this might just break everything, and I'm sorry about it, but how many can my big tent hold? Because I've got a big circus
you
tent.
have got a big circus
Fill out
tent.
the big top. Yeah, that sort of. But even
You
so,
know-
the big top is going to be pretty small. So.
Might take a while to
It
put
could.
up as
The
well.
big, the big top could
it's a big
hold.
top.
The big top could hold all of
My people.
your people, and if you with a squeeze, you could probably fit most of these guys' people in, but you
not
couldn't do any of the
refugees.
Would it
refugees.
actually
Okay,
keep
cool.
out the rain?
Yes.
It's sturdy enough that that it probably wouldn't get washed away. No, like a sturdy tent. People have insects have to deal with this problem for thousands of years. They've designed fairly sturdy tents, but you guys don't actually have in their sort of rush to supply the tents you got weren't such heavy duty stuff.
How common is it? Are the rains?
Oh, they happen. I would say infrequently. They're sort of like a monsoon or something like that. Most of the time, most of the sort of at the insect scale and an insect timeline, most of the water is sort of from like dew and like in the mornings it just sort of settles and things. So that's why things generally stay moist rather than a rainstorm. I know that doesn't make any sense that you're having actual days, but rain doesn't come very often. But fuck it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just-
just like the idea of the sun. Actually, literally, you have like sunrise, and that takes about sort of
I mean,
10 hours or something.
to be honest, or we just live in a very nice sort of place where there's
I haven't.
not a lot of rain.
Yeah, there's a degree to which this is a
We live in
secondary
LA.
world, which is somewhere in between the real world and like
Right.
an insect world. If you see what I mean, it's not. I'm not going to make the physics make sense.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys actually, as you're coming, you see you're going down the road. This is an area. It's farmland, but it doesn't look like what you'd expect farmland to look like as humans. There's no real like low crops. What it is there's just field upon field of flowers. In this case, actually dandelions is the crop they're collecting here. So people are there are tall stalks all around, and the big fluffy heads. Almost all of them have been stripped. Some of them look like they've been left to be stripped by the wind. Other ones look like they've been harvested, which is actually earlier than you would expect them to have been harvested. And people collect the seeds, but people also take the threads to be used as things like rope and for decoration, that sort of thing. As you're going along, you see a small cluster of houses by the side of the road.
Are they prepared for rains?
They look rainworthy, but I'm talking like 4 houses. Like
Okay.
you couldn't fit your people in them. Like
No, I'm just wondering if they would be prepared.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. So that's the situation you guys are in at the moment.
I think it might rain later today.
I tell you what, none of you guys can navigate, can you? But do any of you have nature knowledge?
No.
No, I think we're all by and large.
I have science smarts.
No, probably not going to cop it.
That's fine.
So you guys probably should ask for some directions. Is what I'm trying to get at here. Or if not directions, at least find out, because like you guys might know the area a bit, but it's like I said last time, it's been so changed by the conflict that you basically don't recognise it. I never got around to drawing you that map. So, okay, so the town's over here. You guys have marched to sort of, don't know, about here-ish. So a good chunk of the way, but not so far that an army couldn't force march its way there by the next day, depending on how long they take to raise the city. There are probably other warren openings in this area, but you don't know precisely where they are. This is the water.
Yeah.
There's reeds over here.
What's the bank like of the water? Is it quite stony or?
It's grassy and sort of soil. Like
Okay.
It's more like a lot. Yeah, it's quite steep, but the way the road's done is it's dug in on one side. So there's there's a slight bank, like a vertical bit on one side where they've dug away.
Yeah.
And that's actually the side the settlements are on. They're partly set into that bank, if you see what I mean. So the front, almost like a hobbit house, like the front door and the roof shows, but then
Right.
the walls disappear into the sides.
Well, I guess the sensible thing is to bang on some doors and ask for. Is there anything in the vicinity that we could take cover in?
Before we do that, how are you guys feeling for food? Just thinking, do we want to go and grab like this bread and stuff?
Well, it
I
seems
think
like
your mum's back now.
Mum's just arrived.
That was actually your dad, but I think that's all I was thinking before we get into the
Oh,
bulk
right.
of it.
Well, I mean, I don't know whether
That seemed like a
back,
reasonable
but
place.
she should be back really soon, I hope. Because I'm not hungry. Hello? Hey. Hi, how are you? Sorry, I'm just going to try to find the dog because I know she just ran out. Tom, where's Bella? Hi guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's ran out.
Yeah, so she's not back yet. That's fine. I'm gonna have a slice of brioche.
Well, I thought we should probably just wait first for like. I mean, yeah, feel free to eat now, but as in
That's fine. We'll just have some snacks now. Like I just thought.
Yeah,
I thought I heard her come back
sorry,
earlier.
I thought there'd be.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not worried. It's just I thought rather than it arriving halfway through.
Do you have like any jam or anything, Dan?
Yes, I do.
Jam would be good with this. I'm down for some jam. That's my not say that.
Right.
You guys still enjoying it? I know we only just
I've
started.
only got
Yeah.
plums in plum. Is that okay?
That's great, Dan.
What's that?
I can't remember.
He's only got damson plum.
damson and plum, presumably.
I think damsons are
I
a type of
assume
plum, aren't
when-
they? Like tiny plums.
Yeah. I assume he's got butter. He's got butter.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. We have a massive damson tree in our back garden. Do you?
Does Martin ever asked if you can harvest them?
You can't anyway, reusable.
No, fair enough.
For
What's
some
it-
reason.
Martin.
What do you use them for? Like crumbles and stuff?
Jam.
Mum makes jam. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're pretty used to some dams and jam then.
Having the damson jam.
Yeah. Cool. Can I open up these Jaffa cakes?
Yeah. Well, they're not mine. They're Ben's.
Then I've opened up Jaffa cakes.
Help yourself.
Can I grab the when you're done? Can I grab the knife? We may as well keep one knife for the jams and.
Oh, Scout, don't jump up.
Oh, scout. Oh, scout.
There's no meat, so we should be okay.
No meat, but there is water which she loves. She'd go crazy for that water. Right, so yeah, you guys go, start knocking on doors.
Should I like a plate, sir?
Oh, yes, please.
I'll have my one slice of brioche now. What a day!
Enjoy, Dan.
Thank you. Does no one want butter?
I'm gonna wait for the baguette.
You probably don't really need it. I mean, there's quite a lot of butter in the brioche.
Alright, well, I mean, you're the one who knows about brioche,
I'm the
so...
brioche expert.
Yeah. Where's the jam knife? Thanks.
I like the fact you completed that sentence,
I'm
even though
really-
by the I
Once
handed
you
you.
found the jam knife.
Yeah. I just
What-
want to make
what you
sure
saying,
that
Dan?
you... I really like the idea that, like, if we keep doing this each week, that each week we're just going to have this weird bounty just sort of to display each time. And I'm really excited to see what Ben's bringing to the table, literally, each
We
week.
should have a new segment called What's Ben Bringing?
What's Ben bringing?
Ben's bounty.
That should be the thing. It won't be a brioche again. I think we have some cakes and stuff though.
That's cool. I mean, brioche is good, you know? It's just always such a delight, I'm sure. Like, I'm sure this is going to be the reason why people are tuning in each week.
Just
More
to
than
watch
anything.
25 minutes of us eating brioche.
Yeah. Just to be like, what's he bringing today? I'm so excited to see. What's a good sort of cold lunch snack?
What's a
Is anybody
luncheon?
going to have these fruits?
I might have them to an orange. This is going to be so fucking disruptive to the recording experience. Oh, this is enormous. I might have a small one.
We got apples, we got oranges, we got is that a nectarine I see?
I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, there's some
Yes,
sort of like
probably.
some sort of
Half
peach-
a pack of
peach
Jaffa
fruit.
cakes, some ginger nuts, and brioche. It's great.
A full pack. Yeah, exactly. Actually, I think it's a. I think it was a full pack of. It was an unopened pack, Dan. Before,
As in, like-
before you started.
No, it's in like
As in,
I
like,
assumed it
somebody
was like part
opened-
of a much larger.
Oh,
A
maybe.
much larger pack, sure.
I don't know. Maybe we just threw away the.
Because why would they not bring the By that I mean Ben. I don't know why I'm referring to him. It's like, why would
Why
it
would
not
the
bring
man-
like?
Why would one?
Always the man trying to screw you over.
Yeah, but why would you not bring the cardboard container?
It's because they're not Jaffa cakes.
And you were
Mhm.
shamed. You
I
felt
was
deep
ashamed.
shame in your heart. It's
Well,
okay.
They're still pretty good.
It's okay. I can tell the difference.
Hmm.
Can you?
So, you guys, have you... So, you three, are you all going up to confront this...
These four houses.
Have you just picked one at random and knocked on the door?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Fine.
Who's
And,
leading?
and all three of you are there? You brought anyone else?
I'm kind of just hanging in the back just to see how this whole thing unfolds.
I don't know, do these sorts of farmers, what sort of people are they usually like? Are they quite easily intimidated? They just want to get on with their lives? Or are they sort of,
I imagine there's probably nobody home.
Do you have culture? Does anyone have culture smarts?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Dan, roll so you can get some culture smarts.
Roll.
Yeah.
Oh, cat. No cat.
Camera
no.
cat!
Right,
Sorry.
roll some culture smarts.
How many do you want to roll?
Roll all your die. And then re-roll to try and get some culture smarts. What number are you looking for?
I'm looking for a 1.
He's got no
I've
ones.
got no ones.
Okay.
You know, re-roll them all.
I got 1.
Okay.
We fail.
Well, that
have
makes
no
sense
idea.
because this isn't really like a high culture thing, or something you would know about in your remote thing. But yeah, you've got no idea. You basically don't know what these people are like. Ben, you got a little bit of experience. Farmers are more the sort of people you pass when you're going from between your various employers. Like you don't know them that well.
What am I
Yeah.
trying to figure out about? What are we trying to figure out here?
Where to go? Where can we get
No,
some
but
cover
why are we
from?
asking about like culture smarts? Why are we just not?
I just wanted to. Well, yeah, but I
Because
guess
if
you
they're
knew
like,
what they
you
were
know-
like in advance.
Yeah, if they're quite shy, then obviously walking up with sort of 15 armed men is not going to go down very well. But likewise, if they're sort
Why
of
have you
boisterous, and they
brought
don't take shit-
15 armed men?
That's why I'm asking about culture smarts. If we know, they're
Let's
easily
just assume-
intimidated.
We
It's-
assume from now on that wherever Ben goes, he's bringing 15 armed men.
No, yeah, but if they're like quite boisterous, they don't take crap from anyone. They don't really respect
Can
the
we
law.
bring in
law.
the 15 armed men that you have?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Just
asking.
the 3 of us. We're just bringing the 3
Oh.
of us.
Just the
my
3 of
lord.
us, okay? Derek, come on. Ah, Jesus. Okay.
Okay.
Who wants to lead this?
Well, that served its purpose because that was just to get you guys to talk until I finish my orange. So yeah, you knock on the door. It opens a crack, and you see a wizened little old cricket peering out at you. And he says, "I don't have any business with out-of-towners. What are you doing here?"
Oh, look, armed men would be good right about now, wouldn't they? That's out of character, by the way.
I would love it if it was in character, by the way.
Okay, fine, let's make it in character. I'm gonna go get my 15 armed men.
Okay, well,
have fun.
What you do is you're like,
You
right,
hear-
I'm going to be right back.
You hear a grumbling, and then like various sort of and then the door opens up, and he says, "How can I be helping you, fine, upstanding gentlemen? Come to take any more of my crops, have you? Come to steal away any more of my daughters?"
Do you have it?
What?
Yeah,
what
maybe
is-
if you've got
No.
daughters, then I'm open to her.
No one says this. I guess I'm going to come back to that in a second, sir. We're not here to steal your daughters or to steal your crops. I would like to know who is doing so, but it seems
God, I'm
that...
out-of-towners. Dozens of you flocking the roads these days. I've seen, not a day hasn't gone when I haven't seen some party come down, and do they respect our land? Do they fuck?
And these out-of-towners, they just randomly come by and they steal your crops and your...
And they come say, "Oh, my town, it was destroyed. We are destroying my village. You're destroying my settlement. Look at my farm."
But why would they destroy your farm?
Oh, I guess they should have just thought to bring some food with them. But no, they all just rush off.
I
I
apologise.
mean, I'm being uncomfortable. I am sympathetic, but there's only so much a land can support.
I look at his phone. Is it looking pretty sad?
It's looking fairly dilapidated, but not quite as bad as he's making out.
Okay. I apologise for these people. We have come slightly more prepared, but not as prepared as we had wished to have been. It seems that it shall be raining later today, and I was wondering if you knew where we may take shelter nearby.
For 500 odd people.
For 500 odd people. We are quite a caravan of people.
Okay. Can everyone try and do some converse or something, and then on top of what Dan's just said, you see if you can. Ben, have you got enough dice there?
I think so. 5?
No, maybe have 6.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you 1, 2, 3, I think.
We don't have any converse, so...
Me
Okay,
neither.
don't worry then.
But what I do have is plenty of
Rolls, zero
endure
converses.
and plenty of connections and
You
resources.
got rerolls, Ben. Right?
Yeah. And a sheet.
I know your daughters. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to reroll all of them.
Apologies for the background noise.
Shall I bet dice again?
That's a 4.
That is no use.
So have you guys got anything good at all?
No, I have some makes.
Would you care for me to roll at all for...
Yeah, why not? See what you
anything?
get then.
I don't know what I want to roll for.
Well, just see what you get, and then think about which. You're probably not going to want your fighting.
No.
You basically got fighting and non-fighting, so roll your non-fighting, see what you get.
So,
I'm gonna re-roll my shoot. Then.
I've got 3 culture smarts.
Nice.
What does that mean you can do, Ben? You can endure.
I've got 4 endure and 3 connections and resources. There's so much connecting and resourcing.
So much enduring. I'm just going to sit around until he tells me.
No, I'm gonna endure this storm.
I'm just going to stand there stoically in
Come
front
at
of
me,
it
bro.
by his window, just peering in. Dan, what have you got?
Yeah, I've got 3 culture smarts and 2 notice.
Okay, what's the other dice that you've got?
The other dice, I've got 1 heal and that's it.
Okay, Dan, using your sorry, it was a 1 heal and one what?
1 heal, 2 notice, and 3 culture smarts.
Okay.
No, wait, that's a lie.
Can you heal
1 heal,
relations?
1 science smarts, 2 notice, and 3 culture smarts.
Okay. Fine. So you notice. You notice that the old man has a symbol on the wall in his house. You peer through behind him. You see he's got a symbol of the builder's faith. It looks like a series of it. It's just a crude representation of a wall, basically, with a figure, a vague outline of a figure standing behind it. So, and you see that while the rest of the place it looks quite dilapidated, this is kept spotlessly clean. So you notice that. Also, at the same time, the old man sort of starts to cough and splutter, and looks kind of weak. Okay, that's what you get from that.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can Dan heal relations by using his science smarts to introduce him to crop rotation, which will increase his crop yield?
He only got 1 point in it, so no. But otherwise, he could. You've got connections and resources. If you want, you can offer him like some food or something.
He's got farms. He should be around for food, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess that's true. You can ask him if there's anything he needs, and you might be able to supply him with it.
Okay.
Because it was
Yeah,
got a
we'll do
reasonable
that.
roll.
We'll do that.
I mean, is he replying to our question at least first?
Oh yeah, what did we fucking asked?
I basically asked, is there anywhere we may take shelter during the rains?
He says,
We do not ask to come invade your homestead. There surely isn't enough space for all of us, so...
he goes, oh, I'm not one to travel, so I don't know the lands, but you see as he watches, there's a little bit of sort of gory spittle in his hand as it comes away. He says, most folk I heard been heading a bit further down to Northford, Northford City, which is where the cardinal has his seat.
Do you know where this is?
It's a 3-hour walk.
And is that prepared for rains?
It's a city,
It's
so
a
I suppose
city.
so.
But it is prepared,
Buildings then.
but it is prepared to shelter as many people at such short notice.
All I can say is that's where people were heading.
May I ask also, sorry sir, you seem to be ailed with something. May I ask what it may be?
Just it's been bothering me. I'm sure it's nothing. It's been bothering me these last few months since normally gets me about this time of year, and I can ride it out. But so many other people, the cowards, he sort of shouts at the other houses, have run off to escape the hordes.
Why aren't you leaving?
I was born on this land, and my father was born on this land, and his father was born on this land. Back 20 generations. I'm gonna stay and work this land, and Dan's gonna let some fucking ants come along and take it off me.
There's
It
no
lets
need
you
for
very-
that. There's no need for that, sir. This man and his people have done nothing but...
Never met an ant I liked, no. Saving your presence, sir.
May I ask, do you have family here?
Tilda's out collecting water.
Tilda's your daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I...
Connections and resources time.
Am I able, out of character, am I able to heal this with my own sort of heal skill or not?
You'd have to roll and see how it goes, basically.
I mean, would I roll now? Or would
Yeah, if you ask him, but you have to. Yeah, you can ask him if you think you can do something to heal him.
Okay. May I just... Let me just quickly see if I may be able to heal your...
Okay, there's a distant roll of thunder.
Okay.
I reckon we're probably done.
It won't
I-
take
War
long.
is
It
coming.
won't
Yeah,
take
I'm
long.
leaving.
It won't take long. And if it does take long, we'll just take him with us and Tilda as well, I guess.
We're
Definitely.
not going to
Tilda.
take this sick old man with us.
Just the daughter, Daniel.
Hey. You give me a sec, okay? I've got 3 heals.
Nice. What else have you got?
I've got 3 heals, I've got 2 endures, and I've got 2 willpower.
Okay.
Ain't a bad combination.
Do you need some medicine?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So the old
Yeah.
man says, "Well, so you've offered to him basically."
I've offered. When is your daughter due to arrive?
Okay. He says, "Shouldn't be more than 20 minutes."
And you say it shouldn't take long to get to the city.
Oh, 3 hours. 3
And
hours.
is that
decent
enough time
march.
to get ahead of the rain?
You
This
guys
is
reckon?
insane.
No idea.
We are not staying.
No,
with this man
we just-
and his daughter.
we
have
just bring him
500
with-
people.
Even the
Are
daughter.
you saying this in front of him?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. He goes. What?
I
He's
can.
already insulted you.
I feel I may
Fucking
be able to
Adam.
heal you.
Don't fucking ants taking me anywhere.
Wait, how long?
I'm staying here.
How long will
Alright.
it take for me to heal him?
It would probably take about an hour.
Damn it. Okay.
And we've got to wait 20 minutes for the daughter.
The actual healing shouldn't take as long, but the thing is that you do have the resources, luckily because of Ben's role. But you'd have to dig through the supplies, and there's a lot on the caravans, and you have to collect a lot of ingredients and stuff.
Shit.
So
Okay. Could I do that? Can we do that on the move?
you could,
Are we
but you
kidnapping
could, but
this
he's
man and
refused.
his
But,
daughter?
but he will refuse to move, basically.
I can heal you, but we have to leave now. And if you come with us, just for this day.
Wait, so we're going to bring him with us and then send him back home on his own again?
I mean, he wants to live on his farm, but I can heal him right now, though the rains are coming. What would you have me do? Sorry.
We should just leave.
Yeah.
I think we've got everything we need.
Okay, so he's refusing to leave. Basically, he's not gonna leave. He won't come with you. He's happy to let you heal him, but you have to do it here.
How quickly can we find the supplies?
You can probably find the supplies in about half an hour.
Okay, but serious question. What do we get out of this?
Help this man and help his daughter. For if this old man's to die, is the daughter going to be able to fend for herself with these approaching armies?
We have 500 people.
I know, which is why I'm going to go with you. But I mean, I
You
want
can
to bring
stay
this man
if you
with me.
want, but we're going to go now.
You speaking for me?
No, just my guys.
Okay.
I mean, I could stay here, but that's
now
gonna fuck
that's
with
not
the
so
game.
bad when Ben goes. No, I'd be happy for you to do it, Dan. Don't worry about that. That sort of out of character stuff. Don't worry about. If you guys want to split up for a few hours, that's fine with me. So if you guys want to split up for a while, that's fine with me. Ben leaving isn't too critical for you if he decides to not wait.
Okay.
If Vesey goes.
Well, no, I want everyone
He's
to
got
go.
but he's got the resources. So his caravan, his medicine caravan, at least needs to stay around. You've got like that's the wrong word, but it's where you keep some of your military supplies. That's why you have the healing resources, because you're a mercenary.
I really should have taken
Okay.
heal for one of my things, but anyway.
That's fine. Now you can have one of your successors do that.
Yeah, I might do.
Stop killing your people. They've been living. They're going to live too long. I don't know how many sessions I'm going to have, but kill them at some point. Anyway.
I guess. I'm sorry, this is a lot to ask, but would you mind if I manage to get those resources to heal this man? I will stay here. You go on without me, and I will ride back on a
Dung beetle.
Yeah, why not?
dung beetle.
Scarab.
I will ride back by Scarab
Scarab. Okay.
and catch up with you after the rains.
Do we have any spare mounts?
Must do, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
you could unhitch a mount. Some of the smaller carts have got 2 animals on when they could probably manage with 1, but you'd need like your people to help push them. Your exhausted, unhappy people to push them. But you could do it.
I'm gonna just quickly see how my people are feeling.
Yeah, good idea.
They're feeling brave.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
they're up.
Right.
Nice.
They-
Yes.
none of them want to lie
Then
wusses
Dan-
in front of each other.
Then Dan, I refuse. I refuse your request. My men are gonna stay back. They're gonna fortify.
Wow.
We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight.
The rain.
No, we'll take cover in the rain. Fortify in the meantime in case there are any patrols of ants. Wait for you to heal this bloke up. When the rains are past, we'll leave.
Where will you
You
stay?
losers can die if you want.
There's 3 empty houses. We've only
At
got.
this point, you guys are all still having this discussion. Ben's character literally just walks on.
Well, I just hear that and I'm so...
There's 3 empty houses. We only have a few dozen men. Like my group is quite small anyway.
Okay. I guess in that case, my people will stay. We're gonna set up the big tent.
No, send your people away.
Are
Your
you sure?
people
What
can't
about the
fight.
refugees? Are the
Your
refugees
people
going
can't
with you?
fight.
Are the refugees going with you?
Probably some of them, I imagine.
That you're not.
Are we in
they're
charge
not,
of them?
You're not in charge of them at
Oh,
all.
okay,
They're
cool.
just hanging around.
Only you stay. Your successor
Okay.
goes. Your team goes.
Absolutely.
The refugees go. We will stay because we're the only ones who can fight.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and this shall come back to you in one way, as does the
I think I'll have to send some of my
the
men
way
away,
the
though.
fates work.
Okay.
We're going
Yes.
to send everything. We'll find the medicine. Then we're going to send half. I think half of my men will have to go. We've got to send some with the refugees.
Yeah.
The rest, and along with all of the equipment on the wagons, the rest of them will stay back. We'll fortify. Hopefully, the rains will pass. There'll be no trouble, and then we can move on and catch up in the city to the south.
Okay.
That's a good idea. I don't actually know if any ants are going to come by, but thank you.
Just in case.
Yeah.
We're feeling brave. We're spoiling for a fight.
Okay.
And they're kind of
After a
sick of carrying
24-hour
shit.
march through the night.
We'll rest
Right,
up.
so it
take
sounds-
turns to watch.
Yeah.
It sounds like foods.
Yeah. Should we just pause this for?
Let's pause it to grab some
Food is
food.
imminent.
Because it seems like a good place to pause.
You've got some beer, a few casks of beer, that's most of one cart. Beer's made from fermented moss, which sounds crappy, but there's no real grain in this world. It's actually super nice. You've got quite a few bolts of cloth, spider silk and various other natural fibres.
Is this your defences or?
No, this is the stuff you got from that merchant guy, Niara. You've got a bunch of pollen, which is the equivalent of just like grain in this setting. So you've got like a few sacks full of that. This is the most relevant thing for that is you've got a bunch of poppy heads, which are full of seeds. Now they can be used as an anaesthetic, but they can also just be used as food stuff, or as a recreational drug, and for various other purposes.
So is that like a morphine equivalent?
Yeah, but like much more mild. It's more like it's more like beer, except a food. Like you eat a bunch of it, rather than like taking a couple. You'll eat a bunch. You got loads of rope and a few tools like shovels and that sort of thing.
Right.
That's basically got.
Well, we're going to grab some shovels. Do we have anything that goes boom?
I think you've still got some left from your own supplies because you set some explosive last time.
Well, it was a fire last time, wasn't it? I thought. I wanted to make a bang, but I think we decided a fire was more.
No,
appropriate.
you don't have any blasting charges with you. You tend to have to get them within the when you haven't had any jobs recently which have involved having to blow stuff up. You've mostly been doing more like peacekeeping type work. I should say there have been wars like in the recent thing. Obviously, there's quite a few mercenary companies around, but they tend to be quite small, formal, limited wars between city-states. So you haven't had your experienced fighters, but you haven't had sieges where you've had to end up eating people's legs. It's more civilized than that.
Yeah.
You're like a PMC or something, like a private military contractor, rather than you weren't in Nam. Really saying you haven't been in grim or dangerous situations. It's just that the world has not been. It's had the sort of polite wars that you get between small city-states.
Like Syria and Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
Right. Can we get that silence just right now? Because there's... So for 5 seconds or so. I don't actually think that was picked up on the camera, but there was yeah. I really thought I'd get some silence now.
It's a hard one.
It's difficult, isn't it? Okay, so you guys split off. I am...
Sorry, just... You know what, fuck it, whatever. Just fuck it. Fuck it, I'll find something, I'm sure. Sorry, yeah, we're...
so you guys are splitting off. Ben's second and about half his men are heading off with
the main caravan.
With Congdon, with Captain Ardwell, whatever he's called. Mr. Ardwell. Is it actually Mr. Ardwell?
He's honestly, his character strikes me as a sort of slimy, corrupt businessman.
What, Ben's?
With sort of ties to ties to the mafia.
No,
and
he's very pragmatic and stuff.
I'm not sure
doesn't care about people.
He's more like a London firm kind of guy, isn't he?
The Cray twins.
Yeah.
Like an air of respectability, but with ties to.
Yeah, he's probably like someone from. I think he could you can imagine him running a car company, but you can also imagine him beating somebody to death with a pool cue.
Yeah.
That kind of
Yeah, that's the impression I was getting. I must ask, how wide is this road that we've been travelling on?
How what?
How wide, approximately?
Wide enough for two carts to pass each other. It's not made up though. It's an earthen track. It's like a considerable country road. Maybe one of the bigger parts of a Poleston Lacey, something like that. Or I'm trying to think. Or as wide as Dan's Road, say something on that sort of order of magnitude. Maybe
not including, I assume, things like the pavement, that sort of thing. So we're looking at
no. I'd say it's probably
15, 20 feet. So
yeah, maybe 30 feet, probably tops. So yeah, maybe including the verge, but not including the pavement. Including the grass, but not the pavement. That sort of size.
Okay. Right. What should we do first then? Should we do the rest of them that are moving on, or do you want to do the stuff that's holding back first?
I am going to, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go and deal with what happens to Ben. Okay, so you're heading off up the road. I'm going to get myself a Coke. You're heading up the road.
Should have said something. I could have got you a whole glass full of ice.
I could.
Whole chalice full of ice.
So Ben, you're heading up the road.
I'm heading abaft the road.
You're hovering above. You're hovering above the road. You're hovering above the road.
Where am I going?
Ben, you're hovering above the road.
You're hovering above the road.
Who's your second person again?
He doesn't have a name. He's just sort of, he's more of a tough than my character.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you're heading up the road.
You're hovering above the road.
Yes, you're hovering above the road. Where are you walking in the whole? There's a whole caravan going along of your people, more or less in single file, in terms of wagons.
And you're about 2/3 of the way back.
Okay. Sitting on a wagon or walking?
Walking.
Niara comes up to you, and he's sort of agitatedly fiddling with the tip of his prosthetic antenna, and he says he's been a little bit he's been displeased with you during the night anyway, because your people have. He was sort of under the impression that you were taking these supplies to sell, and your people have drunk a reasonable amount of his beer. So he was already unhappy. He comes along and he says, some of your I've been having some. He comes along and says, "You gotta stop the caravan."
What's wrong?
It's these fucking refugees. They've been getting in and stealing my supplies. I caught one red-handed, hand literally
in there grabbing a handful of berries.
Oh, I'm not there. Shit.
Not my problem.
That's difficult. Also, we don't know who did it.
I'm pretty sure I know who did it.
Could you? I mean, they all look the same. Let's be honest.
We're trying to make her face smaller.
she's best.
You can't.
She's best from the front.
She's best like that. You can't ruin her look.